Malnutrition in Africa not only affects the people in that country, but the world as a whole. Many people know what it's like to be hungry at times, but not obviously to the extent of malnutrition. I've had to basically starve myself for wrestling a few times, so I kind of understand what these individuals are going through, but not to the extent of malnutrition. That's just way over the top. Malnutrition in Africa is not right, and it can and should be fixed. The lifestyle that some of these Africans have to face is very unhealthy, and I feel like humans should not have to put themselves through such problems, but there are many things we can do to end it. As I mentioned earlier, there's many things wrong with malnutrition in Africa, and I'm going to explain briefly the problems. Malnourished Africans are extremely unhealthy. African children's growth is also stunted due to the not having the right nutrients. So the nutritional status of children throughout the world, obviously stunted growth just outweighs everything else. Out of 44 children in the survey, 17 were severely malnourished. And stunted growth, people with stunted growth versus people with non-stunted growth. Out of these African children, all of them are stunted compared to these non-African children. These are 9-year-olds in a survey, and these guys are a lot shorter physically, obviously, than these guys. So, but it obviously doesn't, or I guess it doesn't just affect you physically, it also affects you mentally, because you're not getting the right nutrients, so your brain efficiency is just not there at all. But stunting due to malnutrition affects about 1 in 5 children throughout the world also. Now that you know what the effects of malnutrition can be, let's find out what the cause of the problem is. Africa is a country suffering from severe poverty and illness, and that's because the food sources are very limited and they don't have the right nutrients needed to support that kind of lifestyle. As you may now notice, African people struggle to reach the required nutritional levels due to their lack of quality food. Africa must try their hardest to slow down malnutrition, and they're doing that in Uganda with bananas, and by using genetically modified organisms, because they're trying to get the right nutrients in there so the bananas don't go bad and they can eat them. So they're looking into that in the labs in Africa so they can supply the right nutrients. Rural agriculture shows signs of helping malnutrition, so urban areas may need to boost their agricultural way of life. As discussed, there are many problems with the fact that there is malnutrition in Africa, but some signs are showing that there may be solutions to the problem, but how we act upon them is what matters in solving them. Malnutrition in Africa is not right, and I feel like it can be fixed. Not very easily, but in time it can be fixed. Like I said earlier, malnourished Africans are extremely unhealthy. Africa is a country suffering in severe poverty and illness, and Africa must try their hardest to slow down malnutrition, or else it's going to go way down. If the world sticks together, I feel like we can put a stop to malnutrition in Africa.